What's up, nerds and nerdettes and nerdlings all? It's your buddy Big John and G, the two-gun Pixie presents Legendary Gaming! And my friends, I am back! And I'm back with Alex!
That's right.
Whoa! Alright, so today, Saturday's been International Tabletop Day. We got to play some games. Earlier today, Rob was by. We got to play a bunch of games. We just finished talking about our first impression on another game, and this is also a first playthrough today for us. And we wanted to definitely tell everyone about Thanos Rising.
Timely too.
Zeitgeist. Alright. So, we've been playing, it seems like we've been playing these set collection
dice games
a lot lately.
Yeah.
Not to mention them all because we're not talking about them, and I think it's a little... shouldn't always mention another game, I think, necessarily when you're talking about something else, another person's product. But yeah, there's been a few of them. Just lately, there was a few in the market for a while. Lately, there seems to be a little mini explosion.
Yeah, a little. I've seen a number of Kickstarters.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen a number of products hitting the market. Yeah. It's kind of
becoming popular.
Yeah, it's cool.
Well, it's a nice system. Usually, I haven't had a problem with any of these type of games. I've enjoyed them all to one degree or another so far.
Yeah.
This one, I definitely enjoy as well.
Yeah, me too. I wasn't sure if I was going in, but after playing it, I really like this one.
Oh yeah, right up front, I got to admit that although I was a little excited to get this game right up front, and this is not, USAopoly did not send this to me to review. This is my own money. I went out and bought this, just to let everyone know right up front. So this is a store-bought finished product, everything. I got the game because I was just a little excited about the movie tie-in, and also I haven't been very happy with the Marvel games. You know, the Marvel Dice Master, I'm not going to chase down that rabbit hole of collectible cards or dice anymore.
No.
Legendary, everyone tells me is a great game. John, you gotta play Legendary. Every time I watch a video, I'm like, eh.
Yeah, I played it a couple times, and I can see why people like it. It's not my cup of tea. So this, on the other hand, it's hit the spot.
I like this.
Yeah.
I like this more than I thought. I figured, like my New York accent, I figured that that it would be okay.
Yeah.
That's the assumption I went in with the game, and I have to admit, coming out, I think it's a little more than okay.
Yeah, I think for this type of game, it's one of the better ones we've played, I think.
So the game it's a 2 to 4 player game.
Yes.
You have a choice of 4 different teams.
We got the Avengers. We got the Cosmos team led by Gamora. We got the Doctor Strange Mystic team. Yeah, and then we got Black Panther's technology team. So
for the 3 of us, I was Doctor Strange.
I was the Avengers, and Rob was the Cosmos team.
And I was very happy with Team Magic.
Yeah.
But by the end of the game, I kind of wish somebody had picked Team Wakanda.
Yeah.
Because it seemed like a lot of times we kind of needed a lot of tech rolls.
Yes. It's hard to, it was harder to get those cards to start with. Once you get them and get some of those dice in your pool, which I ended up, once I ended up getting, another red Avenger character, it ended up being fine because I could choose to get a blue dice. But it can be hard to break into it, and then
the first time, and I was lucky. I broke it first round.
Yeah,
and that helped me. I was actually the only person here that did not have a team member die, even though we lost the game.
Yes,
I'm the only one here that did not have a team member die on me.
Yeah, I lost 4 in 1 round. It was brutal.
I had by the end of the game, I had 4 or 5 on my team besides my team leader. So I guess it helped spread out the damage a little bit. And sometimes it would say the person with the least health, or sometimes the person with the most health. So there'd be more options of who had the most and the least was changing.
See, I had 6 characters, and they were just getting hammered.
Yeah, that's
all
true.
of them were getting
That's
hammered,
true.
and that's what happened. It's just they all just got hammered and died off at the same time.
So I gotta say up front, this game is a little kitschy. What I mean is, this looks cool.
Yeah.
This looks pretty bad butt, if I could say so. This does not work functionally very well. The idea is when you roll the Thanos die, it's going to tell you if he is going to look towards the sector to the right of him or to the left of him, and each sector has 3 parts to it.
3 cards, like that.
So whichever sector then he ends up looking at, he affects all the cards in that sector and any team that is in that sector. And you're supposed to just be able to, just move him around very easily. But as we discovered, the base
And the hole.
neither of them are really true circles. They're both a little oblongish oval.
Yeah, they're off round.
And they're not off round in the same way.
Yeah, so there's certain orientations that he gets stuck in, which is unfortunate. I mean, sure, you can fix it pretty easily either by filing down Thanos' little base thing or by cutting up the board, but I hate having to do that.
Yeah, I'm not going to do either. I'll just rather be annoyed than have to shave anything down. So that's a production problem, obviously. I'm assuming it's probably on the entire batch that this came out of, the first edition batch or whatever.
Who knows?
Maybe it could be addressed in later printings of the game. It's also kitschy because it has the actual Infinity Stones.
Yeah, which are pretty cool.
It's very cool. Very, very cool. In fact, while I was playing the game, I was actually thinking that the purple one here, for any of the DC fans out there, this could definitely be used as an accessory for any cosplayer that's doing Eclipse. This would definitely work very well for that.
And this board is really cool too. It has little slots for each of the Infinity Stones when you manage to lose them, and they flip over. So they flip over, and they go from being a little track to being, well, whenever you roll that Infinity Stone color, it does something bad. And some of them do damage. Some of them add counters to more of the stones. If you lose all the stones, you lose the game.
And this makes a good timer for the game.
Yes.
Because each of these stone circles has 5 little squares that you're going to be putting these yellow cubes on. And if at the time, when it happens, that's when Thanos, thematically speaking, gets possession of that stone.
Right.
And that's when you move it from its card piece over to its appropriately covered spot on the gauntlet. And as Alex said, that's when you flip it. And whenever the infinity die comes up this color, since you don't have any space to put cubes on, it actually activates the power.
Right.
So this is kitschy. This is, cool.
Yeah.
It definitely is. They could have gone with...
They didn't even need pieces here, really. I mean, you'd know you failed when you flip all the pieces over. So it's cool that they, added those extra components.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Looking at it, it kind of scares you a little bit.
Yeah.
Because you are literally keeping track of how close he is to getting that next stone, that next gem. And you know that once he does, it's going to get a lot worse for you.
Yeah, I really liked how the game plays out with... You can collect, there's 2 types of cards here around Thanos. Some of them are heroes, and some of them are these villains. And the villains, the way you win the game is you kill a certain number of villains.
The easy is 7, yeah.
Yeah, and I think normally it's 10 that you kill.
Yes.
And you lose when you lose 10 heroes.
Or if Thanos gets all of the gems,
right,
you lose. Or if all the heroes on all the teams die. You lose.
So it's cool that there's multiple ways that you can lose. It's cool that there's multiple timers going on between the cards. If you too many die of any type, or you get too many Infinity Stones. I like that there's multiple things to keep track of, but at the same time it's not confusing.
No,
it's not overwhelming.
Not at all. And it does have the stress factor to it, but it never ramps it up so much that it overwhelms.
Right.
It's always there, kind of in the background. It's just lingering there, a little bit of stress as you're watching these fill up and you're watching them slowly go on to his gauntlet, but it's never overpowering.
Yeah.
And I definitely like that about this game. Another thing I really like, and we were talking about this earlier before camera, is the way the heroes. We didn't even get to see Bucky, did we?
No.
He didn't even come out in our game.
No.
Is the way the heroes synergize with each other, because every hero is listed as being part of a team.
Right.
But anybody can recruit them.
Right. And you want to, because they do synergize with other teams. Bucky, for example, if you have a technology hero on your team, you get a technology dice. You get a blue dice to roll.
Yeah.
So you get
That's
another
a huge bonus.
Yeah, increasing your dice pool is huge in this game. So
after my first game, my first impression, that is highly important, is getting character cards on your team that is going to get more dice in your hand.
Yeah, and I think the other cards that are huge are the ones that allow you to manipulate the dice.
To flip the dice.
Flip them.
Yeah.
So if you see there's one that if you have the damage symbol on any color dice, you can flip it to a different side, once per turn. But that's huge, because then you have, if you roll that symbol, you can change it to any symbol that you need, which is huge for getting cards, clearing cards off here.
And we still lost.
Yeah, we still lost. Barely. I mean, it was
barely.
great.
Yeah, it was.
We were down to 9. We had 9 heroes dead, 6 villains dead, final rounds, and it was down to the dice.
Yeah.
And we just barely lost, one symbol short.
Mm-hmm.
So that was great.
It was right down to the wire. Could have gone either way at the last moment. We couldn't have planned it out any better than we did. We pretty much had it down to a 50-50 chance. And it didn't work.
And it's great. I love it when games come down to the wire like that. And I feel like with this game, that's going to happen to you pretty often, which is great. Any game that's going to have that tension and excitement game after game is something I always look for in a game. And
we were, also, before we were on camera, we were talking about the possibility of expansion. And it doesn't seem to my mind, from what I can remember, that USAopoly is a very big expansion company. They have a few expansions for a couple of their games, but it's not like some of these other companies that just churn out expansions every 6-7 months or something. So we don't know if they even have a plan for an expansion on this. But I think we're both in agreement that we would like to see like one. We think they have a little bit of room for maybe one expansion.
Yeah. I mean, I have one other USAopoly game. I have the Hogwarts Battle, and they released one expansion for it where they add. I mean, the base game comes with 4 characters like this, and they added 4 more. And I think they could do something like that for Thanos Rising. And I think that'd be great. I mean, I always love more options.
Yeah, definitely. I like it when a game has more playable options than the maximum number of players. If it's a 4-player game, I want to see at least 6 choices.
Yeah. At the same time, I did not feel like there was a lack of choices or cards. I mean, we didn't even get through the whole deck.
No.
And I don't think you are going to get through the whole deck in any game unless you're playing some crazy hard where you have to kill every villain in the deck. I don't think that's going to happen. Which is good, because it means you're going to be seeing different cards every game.
Yeah.
And there's enough cards in there to keep it interesting.
But if they do come out with an expansion, the problem is the inlay. They did a nice job, and USAopoly does this often.
Yeah, they do good inlays.
Where they have everything. I mean, Thanos is gonna fit beautifully right in here for you, and every time you open it up, that's what you're looking at. Beautiful. Has enough space for the cards. I think they may have enough space between these two spots that if they came out with like another deck,
if they came out
it could fit.
But if they came out with just cards, it's gonna fit. If they come out with more than just cards, they need the insert for the expansion to handle everything.
And maybe the expansion inlay could accommodate. You know, you could take it out and put it in the base box.
There you go.
That's also a good idea too. But we don't even know if they're even thinking of doing that.
No
expansion, but we don't. But we are of one mind that we don't think they can really get away with more than one, because it's either going to be adding too much and overcomplicating it, or that's it. It's going to add too much and just overcomplicate it.
Yeah, and another thing that I liked with the cards is when you beat heroes, you get the heroes, so you get their powers, which is cool. So you become more powerful that way. When you beat up on villains, when you do damage to villains, you get these bonus chips. And these bonus chips, I mean, this one's great because, hey, look, it's a blue die. You cash in your chip and get a bonus, you get a blue die, which is huge. Most of them are just symbols, which are, again, great because, oh, I'm short one symbol, yeah, bonus chip, boom.
I need one more tech, here I got it. I got a token for a tech.
And some of them do, different things like removing damage, which there's a couple cards in there that remove damage as special powers, which is huge. Otherwise, you're not. So
if Rob had gotten into one more fight that he had done damage on, there's a chance his blind drawer could have been 1 damage, and he wouldn't have lost.
Yeah, that's true. No, it was Wong. It was Wong out here that died. That's what happened.
Oh,
yeah, it's because when Thanos turns here.
See, I knew I should have gotten Wong anyway.
Thanos beats up on your heroes here and activates the villains here, which, I mean, part of it was we let so many villains get out there. We had like 6 villains at one point, which...
That was a rookie Arkham mistake.
Yeah.
That definitely was.
You don't do that more than once.
No.
Well, unless the game starts out with a pretty brutal start out.
Well, it took us several rounds, but we finally caught on to... Me and Alex are going to try to deal with taking down enemies, while Rob is going to try to recruit and try to see if he can get a character that can maybe manage because some of the characters allow you to remove
Infinity Stone. Yeah.
But it's just a little too late.
Yeah, and I really like that there's a benefit to killing villains and there's a benefit to recruiting heroes, and you have to balance both because you want to kill all the villains so that you win, but you also can't let all your heroes out here die because you're going to lose that way.
Yeah.
So it's good that there's a balance of you have to manage the 2 different types of cards.
Whether they're actively on your team or not, they're still potentially taking damage and dying.
Right. Which still counts towards
kind of like babysitting because they haven't joined your team yet. You still got to babysit them. But that's actually a good point though. Interesting. We had to go back to the rule and double check this too. But if there's a hero card, like here's Thor, right? So if Thor has been, chilling out over here, and he's taking damage, that's what these little tracks on the side of the card, the left side of the card, if it's keeping damage. Let's say he's taking 3 damage now, and he can only take 5, and boom, he's gone. When you recruit him,
you take the damage off. Yeah, and
Healing Bay or something, I don't know.
So frustrating thing about the rulebook.
Oh, that rule book. Alex has a couple of things to say about the rule book.
Pet peeve, that rule is in an example. So that rule of taking damage off is not actually in the rules, it's in the example of how to play a particular part.
That is highly important. That should be in the main body of the rules.
Yeah, and I think that the rules are verbose. They're wordy. They're more wordy than they need to be, and it made it hard to read through this rule.
Yeah, you think this is a fiction writer getting paid by the word?
Yeah, it's the game is really simple. Once you pick it up and play, if you've played games like this, especially, you're gonna pick it up quick.
Yeah.
Getting through the rulebook was
rulebook is not pretty.
No, and
it's overwritten. It's poorly edited. They don't even have an iconic.
They don't have an iconography guide. They have this on the back, which is great. Gives you the odds on the dice. Tells you what the Thanos dice can show up, but it's missing. They don't clearly say, all right, so what is the planet symbol? I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter. You know it's the planet symbol, but they don't just list Cosmos. you know, I don't even remember what this is called. Power, Mystic.
And you don't remember because there's no chart to show you.
No chart. You have to dig through, and it's listed in, you know, in a block of text somewhere.
And also, and anyone that watches the show regularly, I hate this. I hate this because this is these fracking album-size rule books they're uncomfortable in the hand. Yeah. The type is so large. I mean, you're overcompensating with this typeset, like you're trying to let Stevie Wonder try to read this or something. I've always hated these. Just over big. It's overproduced, over big, overwritten. It is horrible. We're gonna try to do, if we have time. We definitely want to do this. And if we have time, we're gonna put together a how-to play that's gonna walk you through it much simpler than this. I just hope we have time in the next couple of weeks. Things are getting busy, but that's on the want to do. Please give us time to do. This needs to be done for everyone list.
Yes, and I know they've mentioned, I saw a post by one of the developers that they had an issue with the printer because you'll notice that this symbol and this symbol on the dice, which it correlates to, these two are not the same. So I think there were some production issues, probably in a bit of a rush to get to the printer.
Yeah, because I think they definitely were rushing to get this out before this weekend, before opening weekend for Avengers Infinity War, because they definitely... You know, they want to be part of the zeitgeist.
Yep.
Am I using that word correctly? I know what it means. I think I'm using it correctly.
I think you're using it right.
But yeah, so they definitely want to be part of it. That's for sure.
Yeah, and you know, I as I said, I have Hogwarts Battle. That rule book, I think, is great. It's really clear. So I'm a little disappointed that this one was.
Well, if you ever do a second printing of this, you might want to get those guys to rewrite the rule book for this.
Yeah, I mean, that game's. The rulebook's made for children, which maybe that's why it's so clear, because they were thinking, you know, let's make everything very clear, and this doesn't, which is too bad.
No, it's a horrible example.
Which it's funny, bad rulebook, amazing game. Like, I love the game. Just wish the rulebook you could pick it up, read through it, and play the game, and you can't.
You can't. When I first cracked open the rulebook, I got to the first couple of pages barely, and I'm thinking to myself, "Oh no, this is put together so horribly. This is a game with familiar mechanics. It should be a breeze to go through, and it wasn't."
Yeah, it was very confusing. I read through it, and I was rereading parts of the rules and confused. I spent a lot of time on this, but
and you shouldn't have to, because like we're saying, it is a really easy mechanic. Don't be threatened by it at all. Once you get through it, or watch someone else's how-to play video, or when we get a chance to do it and watch ours, however you do it, trust me, figure this game out. It's worth it.
They do have a how-to. We didn't watch it. They do have a how-to on their official website, so maybe that's a good one.
That should be their entire rule book then. Just
and I mean,
put an advertisement for that when you open up the box.
Yeah, and it's a 10-minute video, so it's not going to take long. We spent longer on this rule book than watching that video.
Yeah, we're probably double that time almost.
Easy.
Almost, yeah. So definitely go to their website and check out the how-to play. I think a good how-to play video is pretty much going to sell this game.
Yes, I agree. This game, if you explain the rules right, it's going to sell itself.
And the artwork is good.
It's great. It looks like it's shots from the movie of the characters. You know, you have some of the villains. Mm-hmm. You have, you know...
Yeah, like right here, Drax definitely is a movie production sort of photo.
Right, you know, Bucky, same deal. So, you know, it's great art. I like the graphic design here. It's very clean.
But because this game was produced before the movie was released, you'll notice the villains are just very well drawn art.
I think they were all... Well, yeah, maybe not. I was going to say that I think they're CGI, and some of them may be, some of them may not.
No, I'm convinced Corvus Glaive, that's a drawing, painting,
you're right.
Ink work. But the same thing with Friday. I think Friday looks like they just made that and made it look like, I don't know. I don't remember seeing Friday like that in any of the movies. Even that's not Hulk from the movie.
Yeah, it is.
You sure? That's not a paint. That's not a photo. What I mean is that's not a photo from the movie.
I think it might be. I mean, Bruce Banner's also. I mean, the Hulk is CGI anyway.
Yeah, so that might be throwing me off there.
But I mean, I'm gonna comment about the graphic design. I think it's great.
It's fun.
It's well laid out. You've got your pretty artwork. You have in the top left corner. You always have what type of character it is, whether it's the technology
hero,
or the space hero, whatever. Then you have the health, which are clearly marked little spots for each
little squares.
Yeah, which is great. You have what you need to get the card, and then you have the power, and the power text is always clear and concise. It's for each damage you add to a villain, you may remove 1 damage from a hero. Great. I don't know why they did so great on
these are, I thought you. I don't know where you were going with that. I was waiting for something else.
They did so great on these cards.
They did. This is perfect.
Here, but
if you just take each of these sentences and phrases literally for what they're saying, singular, plural, paying attention to singular and plural usage, you don't need any further explanation. They are done very, very well in that respect.
Yes.
But if you start second guessing the card, or I'm not sure if it should mean this or that, no, just whatever the popular dictionary encyclopedic meaning and structure of a sentence is, that's the way to take it.
And that's why we picked it up so fast. I mean, we were playing it. You know, we read through the rulebook, started playing it, and we're like, oh yeah, it plays exactly how you'd think it would.
And at the back of every team card, there is
a turn order summary,
which is very helpful.
And it's, again, great. It's very clear what should happen.
Clear, concise, to the point. This is what it means. This is what it says. This is what it means. Bing, bang, boom.
Bing, bang, boom.
Yeah. And each of the places have your starting dice on it. So for Black Panther, it's 3 red and a blue.
Right. And all the teams start with 1 other colored dice, because there's 4 colors of dice. Red, blue, green, and black. Except the Avengers. The Avengers all get 4 reds.
It is all power, baby.
Yep, they're all about the beatdown.
So, and that works well, because then each of them also, you use like for this one, if I decided I wanted to be Team Wakanda, I also start with Black Panther as the team leader. And that's really cool, because each of the team leaders usually have an ability that plays off of, if you have at least 1 more of the same team type, your team type, you're going to get this synergy bonus.
Yeah, you get a dice. You get a choice between the color of dice that they are and another color. Mm-hmm. So it gives you extra dice to your dice pool and flexibility, so that it'll make it easier to get other characters of another type.
And that's something we definitely realized a couple of turns into the game. Just about the same time we were trying to figure out how to balance, or that we needed to balance, recruiting heroes and combating the General Outriders and Corvus Glaive and all these guys. That's when we started realizing that it's really good to mix up, because there are some really good synergy bonuses cross-team.
Yeah.
Like, I ended up recruiting Star-Lord, who's obviously the Cosmic, and Thor, who's obviously an Avenger, because both of them synergized well with the 3 team types that we now had put together.
Yeah.
And that was really great. And that is going to bring a lot of replayability, I feel, to team building aspect of this game.
I agree. And I think there's characters that you are definitely easier and definitely harder to get. And you'll want to, I think you just have to build up a certain amount. You need a few characters that give you dice before you can get the harder ones. Mm-hmm. But the way that you're going to collect those heroes every game is going to be different, which is great.
Yes, it is.
And it's going to change what characters you can collect next.
Many times, because it's going to alter what dice you have in your hand.
Exactly.
So that's your possibility, your probabilities of change.
Yeah, and I think that's great. It's going to, the game's going to play a little different every time, which is great for replayability.
And generally, with this one exception, the components are really great.
Yeah, I mean, the components are fantastic. I mean, this is a minor production issue that's annoying, but the quality other than that...
And the paint job is good. I would say great, but I've already seen people online that have done paint jobs on this, and they've made it so much cooler. So because I've seen all the great work some of you have done, I'm going to say this is okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's great. It's got, different colored pieces, but it's, not his face isn't finely painted. The details aren't there. It's just, black, purple, and gold.
Yeah, some people have done a much better job.
Yeah, but it's great. Out of the box.
It's good.
Yeah.
They could have gone with a standee, which would have been a lot cheaper to do.
Yeah.
Wouldn't have looked nearly as cool.
No.
And since they didn't need minis, this was a great touch. Oh, speaking of minis, I saw, I'm not going off topic, I swear this has to do with the game. I saw that somebody had started using, they got rid of the tokens. So for Team Avenger, they got rid of this, and they're using the Hero Click Captain America.
Oh, that's cool.
And same thing with Black Panther. That's a really cool touch. That has nothing to do with the game you're going to buy, but if you happen to have Hero Clicks,
yeah, you can have some fun with it.
They're going to look much better than these little cardboard pieces to represent which quadrant your team is in.
Then you get to have Thanos towering over your Hero Click.
It's going to look great, just like the movie.
Yeah, yeah.
Because he is like twice as tall as them.
Yeah,
Nice.
That's true.
Nice. And just like the movie, this went down to the wire.
Yeah, it did. It really did. I'm excited to get this one out to the table again.
Oh, yeah. I think this is going to become pretty popular with the other 20-sided Warriors.
I think so, too. It played pretty fast, too. How long did it take us to get through? A couple hours?
2?
Yeah.
I don't think it took us more than 2 hours.
Not more than 2 hours. And that was learning the game, figuring it out.
It was first time out of the box.
Yeah. I mean, I think you could maybe get it down to an hour if you played this a lot.
Yeah.
But, certainly you're looking in the hour and a half ballpark, which is good.
Yeah, because the more games you have under your belt of this, the more you're understanding the strategy of balancing, getting heroes that are going to give you better dice or the ability to alter dice, while also taking care of the villains, because that's how you're going to win the game.
Right, and understanding the odds being like, well, I don't have a chance at this villain or this hero. Like, not even a character I can even
more than a few times that we encountered that.
Yeah, and you're just gonna get to know the cards too, so you'll see them and you won't have to, be looking at everything as much as we did. But yeah, I mean, the game played pretty quick. I mean, I did not feel like the game. I felt like the game played in the amount of time that it should have.
Yeah, definitely. Even for it being first game right out of the box.
Yes.
I was happy with the game length time.
Yeah, I agree. So
it plays, within the time parameters that it advertises.
Yes.
As long as you don't use that rule book to learn the rules, this is actually an easy game to learn.
Yeah.
Because of the characters and the popularity of Avengers right now and the tie-in with Infinity War, I think this game is timed beautifully coming out.
Yes.
If you're a fan of Marvel, I think you want to get this game.
I think so too. I wouldn't say this is a gateway game. I think it's a little bit more complex than some of the other dice collection games out there.
Yeah.
Some of them, not all of them. I mean, Sharpshooters is probably the easiest dice collection game out there. But I can see people who haven't played a lot of board games. I mean, aside from this, if this was written well, I could see people who aren't really into board games being able to figure this out.
Yeah.
And I think that's what USAopoly does. I think that's what Hogwarts Battle was aimed at too, is kids who haven't played, hobby board games before, teaching them and their, parents how to play the game. And the games are simple enough that you can pick them up.
Yeah. I agree with you with this. Outside of that poor excuse for a rule book, once all you need is one person who knows how to play the game, and they can teach anyone how to play this game in 10 minutes.
Yeah. You know what they should do? They should throw in just a little, one of those little sheets with QR code to scan it, get to the video online. I mean, it doesn't solve the rule book, but at least then you're pointing people to another avenue to learn. And I've seen other games that do that. And I think it's great when games do that. watch the video to learn how to play. Just
because if somebody can't get past that rule book, they're missing out on a good game.
Yeah, and I think there's lots of people who hate reading these. Hate them.
And I can't be the only one that hates them when they're oversized like this. If you hate them when they're oversized like this too, put a comment down. I want to know I'm not alone.
Yeah. I mean, I know why they do it. If it's the box, making, got your...
It's the box. It doesn't need to fit the box.
That's true.
It needs to fit your hand.
That's true.
It's got to feel comfortable in your hand, and those sizes do not feel comfortable.
I agree.
It doesn't even feel comfortable in the eye because they got to make the font so much larger.
I agree.
See, fans, friends, family, all of you out there, there are things I don't like. It just seems like every video I'm like, oh, love the game, love this, love that. Now, there are things that do work for me, and this is definitely high on that list. But okay, so overall,
Great
I think you need to play this game if you're a fan of Marvel or if you're a fan of this style, the dice set collection mechanisms, rule mechanics. You're going to want this game, definitely.
I agree.
Yeah, put this on your shelf. It's going to look good on your shelf, too.
Yeah, and I
Nice box.
I don't think this game gets eclipsed by other dice collection games. We've played a few of them. This is different enough that I would be happy to have it in my collection alongside the others.
Oh yeah, definitely. So like you said, it is different enough. It sets things up differently. Things work together or synergize between each other differently.
Yes.
None of the other games we play have this sort of thing with it, with the way, as this is ticking away, because there's like a clock, things are getting worse and worse and worse and worse for you, and this schmuck here, Thanos, is getting more and more powerful.
Right. And I mean, and it's got a little bit of a card collection aspect to it, in addition to the dice collection.
Mm-hmm.
You buy the cards with it, so it's a little bit different than a lot of the others we've played, which is good. I like it when similar mechanics, new spin.
Yeah, definitely. And this definitely falls into that category, and it hits all the fun marks for everything you're used to in that category.
Exactly.
Yeah, this is a game you're going to want. This game on your shelf. You're going to want this game on your table. Marvel, this is, I think, a no-brainer. And I came into this being surprised. Like I said, I came in thinking that best this was going to be, So, yeah, definitely. You're going to want to get this game. All right, so thank you all for tuning in. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. Thank you. We are on Twitter. We are on Facebook. You've been loving us on all the social media, and we love you guys right back. Thank you for sharing our videos. Thank you for liking. Thank you for commenting. I'm your buddy, Big Johnny G. 2 Gun Pixie presents Legendary Gaming. This is my main man, Al, and we are...